What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. We got to talk about the Cardinals because we've now reached the point where we've got to start having some pretty uncomfortable conversations. They lose again today, 31-27. It was a really good game, back and forth with the Colts, who are now 5-1. I mean, it is a good Indianapolis team this year. Battle really had a shot at that thing, had, a chance to take the lead with about a minute to go, unable to kind of find the score they needed, end up coming just short. But there's a bigger question that it's coming up now. I mean, now at 2-4, you are 2 games back of every single team in the division. You are in a deep hole. It's still possible to dig out of it. You still have a chance at making a run at maybe the playoffs and some stuff, but it's bleak now at this point. And you were supposed to log wins here early in the season when the schedule was soft, as it is about to get a lot harder for Arizona. And yet now they are in trouble in the standings and in trouble with what's coming down the pipe for them. But the bigger question is, we got to start talking about the quarterback. And I mean, and have a real conversation about it. So Murray ends up being sidelined for this one with an injury. So Kyler doesn't play. Jacoby Brissett, who's kind of like a journeyman backup, had some starts. There was a year where Indy looked at him as possibly being the guy that was going to replace Luck. He's a solid backup, and I don't think he's a great starter, is kind of the name of his career. And if he is your backup, you feel good about it. But he came in and had a very good day, almost basically carved up the Colts, who have had, again, a really good year. He ends up completing 27 of 44 passes, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. The 320 yards, let's start there. That is the second most yards that Indianapolis has given up this year. So again, Indy's defense is pretty solid. The only team that has had more against them is the Rams with Matthew Stafford, and he ended up getting 150 in the last 2 minutes of the game as they were having to chuck it to come back in that game. The other half of this is 100 and more yards than Kyler Murray has had in any game this season. Same roster. 100 more yards. Kyler's had 5 games. This is the first game for Brissett. That ain't great. And just if you want to go off the eye test, didn't it look like the offense ran better with Brissett? A quarterback that actually was looking to throw it and find his guys downfield and stretch the field a little bit, and then let the running backs kind of run it, and a guy that operated an offense. See, you have to build an offense around Murray. Brissett, you can just play it in offense. And how long do we have to keep running the experiment of Murray before we get the answer that I think everyone at this point really knows, that he's not a franchise quarterback? He's been the franchise's quarterback, but he's not a franchise quarterback. And I think that's the point we have reached. Because now the question is, which of these two guys give you a better chance to win on half of the other top of? You're paying Kyler a lot of money, then it's well, if his contract is going to be coming up here pretty soon, we got to see if we want to give him an extension. If you are wondering whether or not at this point, after so many years of him being in Arizona, and you still don't know if he is worth an extension, you should know your answer at that point. He's been here for 7 years. And if you're still not sold after 7 years, at what point do you have enough information to know that this is just not the guy? He's fun. He does some stuff that's cool. He does some stuff that's unique, but maybe he's just not your guy. If he's having a honest quarterback conversation, at least, on whether he or Brissett should start, he's not your guy. 100 more yards in one game for Brissett against a good defense. Maybe he just had a good day. Let's see if he could do it again. But now you're which guy do we start? And if you're really having those conversations, that's tough. Let's move on to touchdowns, interceptions. Kyler's played in 5 games again this year. He's got 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 2-1 in this game. for Brissett. 2 touchdowns in one game, 6-5. Slightly better pace. It's just how long are we going to continue to watch the exact same thing with Kyler before we why do we keep running and getting down the same roller coaster, the same train when we know where it's taking us every single time? Again, I understand the fact that they are a little bit pot committed right now. Like if you finish off this year and you start talking about cutting him, well, after this year, you'd have $57 million of dead cap money, $7 million if you cut him the year after that, and then after that, you start to it's the club option after that. So you've really got 2 more seasons after this. But at this point in modern day NFL, we have seen teams swallow that money and just live with it. We just saw Denver cut Russell Wilson, paid him a bunch of money to go elsewhere. Saw the Jets cut Rodgers, paid him a bunch of money to go. It's shortly they made their decision quick and moved on. We're in year 7. 7 years of this. How many more years, how many more plays, how many more times do we have to see the same thing to know what we got? And it's such a weird spot because this team was supposed to compete. This was supposed to be a year where they can make a run at it. It feels like that's gone. They would have to catch absolute fire down the stretch to have any shot at the division, at a wild card. And this is a team that historically has gotten worse as the season goes on. They normally start hot, and then they kind of fall apart a little bit. What are your options? I mean, you didn't draft a quarterback. You don't have any guys that are just kind of a quarterback maybe in a waiting that you could give opportunities to play. Brissett's not your future. So are you going with the excuse that you still need to see more from Murray to decide right now kind of what to do with him? 7 years. How much more do you need to see? These other franchises are seeing 6 games, 7 games out of a quarterback, and they've pretty much made up their mind. Certainly a year, you see people dump them. If it's a high draft pick, maybe you get a little bit more, 2 years. I mean, the Colts just benched Anthony Richardson this year for Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson was a top 5 pick. Top 5. 2 years in. Done on the bench. Kyler Murray, we're 7 years in. And I get top pick, but like 7 years, and we're still not sure what to do with him. If 7 years in, you don't know what to do with them, you know what to do with them. You just don't want to bite that bullet and hit a full restart. Is it better to continue being a meddling team right now versus not doing a full restart? You're trying to be a team that's winning, and you're a team that is 2-4, and you're going to be right near the top of the draft boards. So why not? I guess maybe the answer is he's going to be the answer himself because he's going to play the Cardinals right into a top pick where they can go out and get a quarterback. Not sure if you've been watching college football, though. This year's draft class, which was supposed to be stacked, those quarterbacks kind of suck. They haven't looked great. Penn State's quarterback just tore his knee. Done. Arch Manning has been awful. Mateer, everyone thought was going to be great. He looked awful in the Red River this past weekend. South Carolina's quarterback hasn't looked good. All these guys that everyone thought was going to be amazing this year in this draft class, they have not had a good year. I just don't know how many more games we're going to have to see the same thing out of Kyler before everyone knows. Everyone knows the answer. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. And yet, when he's healthy, because of how much he's making, because that's the decision right now, they're gonna run him back out there. They at this point, they kind of just need to lose games. And I guess the best decision, if I had to decide, is to run out Murray, because maybe it's a win-win situation for you. If he ends up winning games and you get back in the playoffs, you look great for sticking with him. If he's awful and you continue to slump and fall, then you can get his replacement. That's the silver lining right now for Cardinals fans, as the season has just continued to spiral and be awful. Not good. Not great today. And there does not look like there's a light at the end of the tunnel for them right now, as the schedule's going to get harder. We'll see, I guess. I guess they go back to Murray. It's not great right now.